Top Billin.
Top Billin back at it again with part 2 of comparing the Seattle Seahawks roster with the San Francisco 49ers roster. Two teams who definitely have a lot of ability to make a ton of noise this coming season. No doubt about that. We already know San Francisco 49ers are king of the yard. I've said it before, part 1, I believe they are the 1B to my Philadelphia Eagles 1A in the NFC. But even with saying that, man, all around the NFC, there are some teams that will make some noise as well. And gotta pay your respects to the Seattle Seahawks, who look like they've closed the gap. So when I said that on the first one, you had a lot of people who, I don't know, they always got to go to the extreme like Vanilla Ice.
To the extreme.
Closing the gap does not mean you're better than the next person. That means you have diminished a lot of the room or distance between the teams, right? I said before, I didn't think Seattle had much to offer San Francisco, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, right? It's because San Francisco is one of these teams that are built from the inside out, always keeping themselves some dope-ass defensive tackles. Front seven is always the truth. Seattle, to me, had to get to that point. Are they all the way there? That remains to be seen, but that's something that we've already talked about on part 1. I'll attach that at an end card if you haven't already seen that. I want to talk about the offense right now. And the offense is where I think the San Francisco 49ers are very underrated. They're definitely a defensive outfit, no doubt about that, but their head coach is a damn offensive genius. People need to understand his ability to manufacture offense no matter the personnel. You have Deebo Samuel on this team with a Brandon Ayuk. These type of dudes right here are style flippers, right? You can put them in kinetic motion. You can put them out in the backfield. You can put them out wide. You can do a lot of different shit with these guys because they run after the catch, tough type guys, right? All these tough Tony type cats out here, right, doing the damn thing. The offensive line, though, that's where I think a lot of people need to pay attention to. Not so sure about straight up pass protection against teams that can really rush the passer. Obviously, my Eagles really ended their season based upon that, right? A couple of quarterbacks knocked out in the game from their inability to stop the rush. However, you know what I'm saying? That's what the quick game is for. That's what the mid-range game is for. Really honing in on that. There are going to be some new faces, right? There's some guys that are going to be moved up for the San Francisco 49ers there. That's going to have to play a major part in their success on the offensive line. So that remains to be seen. But shit, when you have a George Kittle on your team, perhaps the 1B best or 1B, 1C, or however you want to classify that, with Mark Andrews out in Baltimore, Travis Kelce, and these guys at the tight end position, George Kittle is an institution all to himself. He is nasty, absolutely nasty. Everybody wants to talk about the quarterback position. As before that, man, the running backs are nasty too, right? Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, right? Elijah Mitchell is severely underrated. If he's healthy, I'm not so sure he's not as good as Christian McCaffrey. He's explosive as shit, right? And he just fits that type of scheme. That's the type of back that I like, right? A 6th-round pick type cat who will perform like a 1st-round pick, right? He's averaging like 6 yards per carry, averaging close to 5 yards per carry in the NFL. You got Christian McCaffrey, of course, a 1st-round draft pick in his own right. Very versatile player. A lot of versatility with the San Francisco 49ers offense. A lot of depth that needs to be had, right? There's some guys I feel like they could still kind of add in, right, to really see what they have going on. But maybe they've done that, right? You got guys on the back end like a Daz Newsome, Ronnie Bell from Michigan. These are some young guys at the wide receiver position who made a little bit of hay in college, no doubt about that there. But that damn quarterback situation, right? It shouldn't really be a quarterback situation. If Brock Purdy played that well for you, that should be your quarterback, just straight up, right? That just makes it dumb that you drafted Trey Lance. Went outside of himself, him being Coach Shanahan, drafted Trey Lance in the 1st round, moved up to get the cat, really for no reason. That's not how they've normally operated with that type of scheme. They take guys like Brock Purdy and make them into superstars. Imagine where they would be if they had all that capital they got or they had to give up for Trey Lance. And like I said before, I don't think Trey Lance is he doesn't even barely have 100 attempts in the NFL. He could definitely, right? You never know. The light could come on and the injury bug could go away He could very much overtake Brock Purdy. He definitely has more tools in the tool bag. So they have some good options right there, no doubt about that. Brock Purdy has to be healthy. And then, of course, bringing up the rear, you have Sam Darnold, another first-round quarterback that hasn't lived up to that billing, that top billing that he received before. Now, flipping on over to the Seattle Seahawks, and I see a special year coming for the Seattle Seahawks if everyone stays healthy. Listen, the front line players for Seattle on offense, incredible. I'm talking about 2 certified number 1 receivers in DK Metcalf, Dennis Rodman Jr. himself, and you got Tyler Lockett, a.k.a. Courage. I'm just playing. Calm down. But then you add in a Jackson Smith and Jigba cat, who I said was the best wide receiver, or one of my, I say he was a 1B wide receiver for me in this particular draft. I wanted my Eagles to get him so bad. And Seattle ends up with this cat in the first round who fits in absolutely perfectly as far as a slot machine goes. He is the slot machine. Mine Jigba. Jackson Smith and Jigba, the enigma. I'm telling you, man, that kid is going to do some serious work. Open up them passing lanes as far as getting vert. I feel Seattle's going to go vert early and often this year. You can see it in that playoff game against San Fran. They have the ability to be explosive. I'm talking about one-hitter quitters on people, and DK Metcalf getting that done. But having the underneath guy who can do a lot of the heavy lifting, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, a guy who will get you some yak, not necessarily Tyler Lockett's deal there. You get some guy who can go underneath and get you some yak who's not afraid of contact or anything of the sort. Your boy Jackson Smith and Jigba is that. No doubt about that. The offensive line in year 2 with those rookies should only be even better, right? They had some a little bit of issues going down the stretch to me. I thought it got out of sorts for them a little bit, but you expect that. Rookies to hit the rookie wall and all that. You're seeing more and more talent. I think both of those guys are going to be good. It was all about that interior portion of the line, bringing in a cat like Brown and then drafting Oluwatimi behind him. Yeah, you got some guys, man. You drafted Anthony Bradford as well. So, I don't know what to tell you, man. That shit is incredible. And, of course, the running back position is going to be absolutely stacked. Obviously, we don't know how these guys will play, and I'm talking about Kenny McIntosh and Zach Charbonnet there, but I know Kenneth Walker to already be the deal, and he's going to completely be the man even more, I think, with a complementary talent behind him or around him, or however you want to say that. Maybe one of those guys becomes a co-starter with him, or it's going to be a running back by committee anyway, and having versatile guys like that, like a McIntosh who can play. And, of course, DJ Dallas as well. So if they do carry 4 running backs, man, all those guys in the mix there. But it's that cat under and behind center, eat at Geno's. Geno Smith, who I think, man, if you really look down and lock down and try to compare it, the better wide receivers, man, that's a tough one right there because you got to add in the tight end. I think Noah Fant could be a star. Oh, man, that man was explosive as hell. Finding better ways to work him in there, of course, with Disley and all these guys there. It's probably a wash. I would say it's a wash between Seattle and San Fran at the targets position, right? Receiving target position when you add in the tight ends, especially a cat like George Kittle, which is smoking, right? San Francisco, one of the best there is as far as those targets goes, and Seattle right there with them. The offensive line, man, you probably could. It's I don't know, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. That's probably even as well, right? Depending on how some of these young guys play for Seattle, I may actually lean towards Seattle with having a better offensive line. And, of course, the running back position, I'm going to have to call that a push as well, right? I love what Elijah Mitchell brings. Christian McCaffrey, you could possibly say, is the best back out of them all. Maybe he's just tired with one of these young guys from Seattle or a Kenneth Walker, somebody like that. I might call that a push, right? I know a lot of people, Seattle fans are going to say it's them, but just keeping it 100, Larry, that might be a push. Elijah Mitchell can play, and they have that scheme, and they know how to run that scheme. Even the offensive lineman might not be the best in pass pro. They get after it in that run game, man. The quarterback position, I expect Geno Smith to have a huge year. I don't know what's for Act 2 with Brock Purdy. He looked very good. But now you Smith, man. I expected him to have a huge year. One of those, he's not going to rest on his laurels. You still had a lot of people trying to replace him. You still had a lot of people questioning his ability and seeing if he could do it. A lot of people talking about he didn't actually play that well down the stretch. Now it's just a chance to further shut people the hell up. All right. I feel like when you're somebody like Geno Smith, you're always having to prove people wrong rather than proving yourself right. That's just it, right? So Geno Smith got him more weapons, possibly got him better pass protection, got him some super more weapons at the running back positions. Geno Smith is that deal. He's going to be dealing like a blackjack dealer. He's a point guard out there with the ball. He's looking to distribute first, and then he still has the legs to extend the play as well. Come on, man. I don't know. It's very even on offense. Just like I felt like Seattle closed the gap on defense, I might actually have to go with Seattle on offense. Crazy to say, I expect them to have a top 10 offense at the very least. Same deal with San Francisco, though. So that's why I say it's closing the gap. It's hard to say Seattle is better than San Fran, but before I didn't really think it was close. Now I think it's actually pretty close. So we shall see about that. Let me know what you think out there, man. It's going to be crazy between these guys. And this is not necessarily just a head-to-head thing. You have to take care of your entire schedule. It's like the Atlanta Falcons fans when I said that. They were like, oh, well, so Atlanta beat Seattle last year, but Seattle made the playoffs and had a better record. So it's not about a head-to-head anything, man. You got to take care of business throughout this entire schedule, all right? But it's your boy Mid-Atlantic Murph, a.k.a. Jersey Murph. Let me know what's popping out there, you guys. Salute.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.